Hello, xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đến với kênh Nguyên Family Cali cuộc sống Mỹ. Sau đây là những cảnh quay mà Quyên quay lại khi mà gia đình Quyên đến Universal Studio. Đây là phim trường của Hollywood. Họ sẽ quay lại tái diễn lại những cái cảnh ở trong phim Hollywood của Hollywood đóng nha.
Quay nó lẹ nhất chụp hình có phải cười phải ấy này không? Thôi để đoạn 2 đi, đông quá. Ủa anh, hồi lúc mà mình xuống cái thuyền ở này mình để ngoài à?
Không, anh nghĩ là chắc có mang xe lên luôn á.
Không?
Nó nhiều khi đi kết làm sao mà người ta bỏ xe được. Cái ấm không phải. Ấm luôn. Không giật đâu.
Rồi đồ đạc mình đem theo luôn hả?
Giờ mình đi mang đồ nhiều quá.
Đồ ăn mà.
Đây là những tòa nhà mà phim trường Hollywood sử dụng để đóng phim.
We turn on to New York Street. And to tell you a little bit about this area, I'm going to bring a guy up on the monitors who films a show in New York. We saw him a little bit earlier, Jimmy Fallon.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighbor. What's that mug over there? That old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. It's cool, guys. I was just, walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Jimmy Fallon used to be on Saturday Night Live with Andy Samberg, who was out this part of our backlot last month. They were using these sets for some scenes for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is on NBC. Even though we call it New York Street, it can be dressed up to be other places as well. We had used this as London in Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. They did a motorcycle chase up this part of the backlot. And we had just used it for the latest season of American Ninja Warrior. They had the obstacle course for the new season built down the whole length of New York Street. Most of the sets that we're going to be driving by on the tour today are not full buildings. These are facades. They're outer shells. So they build the fronts of the sets, they build the sides of the sets. Most of these buildings are empty on the inside. So if you're watching a movie or a TV show and you see someone walk through the front door of one of these buildings, as soon as they step inside, they close the door and they cut. On another day, they go inside of a soundstage. They do the interior scenes inside the stage where they have better control over the weather, the lighting, and the sound. There's a giant soundstage right in front of us, and I'm going to bring up an Academy Award-winning director to tell you about it. The director of our 2005 version of King Kong.
Nó làm cái cảnh như giống như sấm sét này nọ lắm.
It's the original King Kong.
Sấm sét với nước cái cảnh xuống rồi. Với cái cảnh này. Đó.
I like films that just take you
Đó, là giống như là mọi
sweet ones. It's just complicated as it's going along. The ship is into Lost Island, monsters, creatures from prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It was great to have been along for a while.
Và mình chuẩn bị đi vô cái chỗ mà họ để dàn đóng phim trong phim động đất á, nó sẽ lắc nó làm giả như trong cái phim mà đóng động đất mà tối cúp điện đồ hết luôn. Động đất thì tất mọi người được cúp điện hết.
So before we head to the island, Peter Jackson is going to tell you what you should expect to see.
The universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife at Skull Island.
In a city, or go up to the island.
Đây là những cảnh đó, trong phim giống như con khủng long á, khủng long hồi xưa. Cheer for King Kong! He helped us, he saved us. Thank you, King Kong. Con bé người mẹ phía trước nó sợ quá, nó coi khủng long nó sợ quá, nó khóc luôn.
Once we leave the building, go ahead and take off the 3D glasses. Don't lose them. If you can avoid it, try not to drop them off the tram because you're going to need them again a little bit later for another one of the special effects. The King Kong 360 3D is one of the world's largest, most intense 3D experiences. This attraction was designed by Peter Jackson and the special effects team with Wedded Digital out of New Zealand. And they use some of the most advanced technology in filmmaking creative. What I'm showing on the monitors is a little behind the scenes footage of them creating this attraction for our tour.
With a project like Studio Tour, the onus is for the these creatures coming out and we're seeing kind of missile and T-Rexes flying. Even in the movie, we always know people not looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that we're working on. Here, people looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this ride, I like the movies that we're working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one shot, this tram that's driving along through Skull Island, because the camera's coming. This one
Nó không có để trống lỏng vậy đó hả? Hả? Nãy để trống lỏng đâu có kiến. Không. Đợi ghê, của nó văng vô. Thì bởi con mới nói là đem cái này vô để nó rớt. Làm ba sợ ba đâu thèm vịnh, ba cho rớt luôn.
There was a tram that was parked in front of the entrance to King Kong. It was just a front car, and it wasn't in very good shape. It looked like maybe King Kong stepped on it. That's a picture car. Anytime we use a specific vehicle for one of our productions, they call it a picture car. And like that tram, a picture car doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to have an engine. It just has to look like a real car when they film it. On the left side of the tram, we've got a whole row of
bên
famous
trái này
picture
nè
cars from
là
movies
những
and
cái
shows.
má
The first car
bên trái
is a
này
kit
là
car
những
for
cái
Knight
xe
Rider,
mà
but
chỉ
it's
dành cho
not the
đua
one that David
phim, một
Hasselhoff
cái phim
used
về
in
đua
the
xe
80s.
đấy người mới sẽ thấy nó
Trans
đua
Am.
xe
But Knight Rider was brought back to
cái mấy
NBC
cái này
in
mấy xe này không
2008.
hút
That was a
không có
kit
chạy
car
được
from that
chỉ
movie.
là đóng phim thôi.
The Flintstones cars are the only two that don't work up here. They don't have engines because the Flintstones don't have engines.
Cả đóng phim đều là đồ về.
We have two cars from the second Fast and Furious film, Too Fast, Too Furious. The new Fast
Và
and
tiếp tục đây
Furious
là
film,
cảnh trong phim hoạt
F9
họa về
years.
những chiếc xe hơi á, mà tụi nhỏ nó rất là thích.
We have some vehicles from the Jurassic Park films,
Hai xe này không có mấy món
military
gì hết.
vehicles that are used in Transformers, and these are picture cars in action. Oh no 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 no! Don't.
Ê, đây. Vô bà thầy.
Without a doubt, the picture car that people ask us about most often is the one on the monitor right there. Where's the DeLorean from Back to the Future? Well,
Where's the
unfortunately,
DeLorean?
we don't have
Where's
that at
the
the studio
DeLorean?
anymore.
Where's the
That's in a
DeLorean?
museum. They moved the DeLorean to the Peterson Museum. It's a famous car museum out in Los Angeles. The Back to the Future films were executive produced by Steven Spielberg, who directed the first two Jurassic Park movies. The next installment of the Jurassic Park series, Jurassic World Dominion, comes out next year with Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and Laura Dern. All of them are coming together for this one. And the guy who built Jurassic Park, John Hammond, wants to say something as we drive through this area.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
That was it. That's all I want to say. This is where we've stored some of the sets and some of the vehicles from the Jurassic Park films. And dinosaurs.
Cái này cái gì mấy cái gì đó ở trong Jurassic Park.
Why would we do that? They're doing it again. Dinosaurs keep spinning.
Không anh à.
That's why my seat has a window. It's not that.
Nó bùng mát.
If you didn't get wet, don't laugh at the people that got wet because A, that's not nice.
Đây là con khủng long đây.
B, the tour's not over. We're at a movie studio, which means we can create weather effects anytime. And I have access to Al Roker from the Today Show. He's going to tell you what the weather's going to be like for the next part of the backlot.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy and really lit. Expect snow and slip on New York Street. And we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation.
Có đây nè, có đây nè, má bên đây nè. Có má bên đây nè.
I love you. That's your forecast for today. Now here's a
Ở
look
chỗ
at
này là
what's
chuẩn bị là lũ lụt đó, lũ lụt có thác lũ á. Họ quay đây là cái cảnh trong phim lũ á.
That's where we are. And we're going to stop because we're going to demonstrate a very simple special effect. We're going to create a little storm on our backlot, not with computer effects, not with CGI, with sprinklers. So we've got some sprinklers in the area. We turn them on. You can see how easy it is to do this type of effect. The problem with the special effect is we run it all day. Every time a tram stops in New Mexico, it rains, and the set is built on a hill. Over the course of the day, there's a lot of water building at the top of the hill, and at one point it all rushes down at once, creating a flood. Sometimes it hits a tram as we're driving through. Today, we are that tram. So be careful if you're sitting on the
Họ
left,
làm
there's a
mưa,
flood.
họ làm mưa nhân tạo trước ha.
Trời
Mưa rồi sấm
I'm
sét
sorry.
rồi sau đó nước lũ mới dâng lên đó, bắt đầu nước lũ trào ra nè.
Sorry. Car number one. All this water is recycled. It's going under the bridge at the bottom of the hill. It's getting pumped back into the tank at the top of the hill, so when the next tram drives through, they get the flood as well. And if you look up at one of the monitors, I'm going to show you this flood in a scene from the movie Big Fat Liar, a comedy from 2002. Oh, did you call it? Did you know it was in there?
You can't outrun the wolf, kid!
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So, Big Fat Liar filmed out here in 2002. That is the same recycled water. That'd be stinky. We change out the water. This section of Old Mexico can be seen in Three Amigos, Nacho Libre, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Last year, it was used in an episode of Picard with Patrick Stewart that streams on CBS Access. And when we leave Old Mexico, we cross the border into the Old West, driving right through an old western town where we
Đây là
had
cảnh
made
những
movies with
tòa
John
nhà, những đô
Wayne,
thị,
Jimmy Stewart,
những khu dân
Kirk
cư
Douglas,
mà người ta đóng
and
trong
Clint
phim.
Eastwood. We stopped here because this is a very historic part of the backlot. These are some of the first sets that were built at the studio. They've undergone refurbishment many times, but some of these date back to 1915. They were built for silent movies, and they're still used. About 2 years ago, there was a movie film out this part of the backlot, and when they were shooting, the producers asked us to keep the movie a secret. So we were driving by, but we couldn't say what the name of the movie was. We couldn't say who was starring in the movie. We couldn't say who was directing the movie. But it was a great opportunity for the people on the tram, because as we were passing by, people were dressed up as cowboys. They were riding around on horses. We drove past for 3 weeks, and nobody recognized Leonardo DiCaprio, or Brad Pitt, or Quentin Tarantino. They were filming Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they were dressed up like they were from the 1960s. Everybody on the tram were taking pictures of the cowboys and the horses, that they weren't paying attention to the stars. And we couldn't point them out because Quentin Tarantino said, keep it a secret, don't say what it is. That's one of my favorite stories to tell, because I saw that happen and there wasn't anything I could do about it. At this point, we're a little past the halfway mark of the tour. Again, I want to remind everybody, please remain seated on the tram. And remember, if you do drop an item off the side, or if you can't wait till the end of the tour to use the restroom, pull that red emergency cord above you and remain seated. This section of the back...
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool. This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this.
You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here.
I'm going to pause this right there. This is a scene from the very first episode of the show where they're at yogurt. There were a lot of yogurt places in the good place, but they would usually visit this one, which is directly in front of the tram. It's the set with the double doors, the 2 blue doors, and it's where they filmed the scene.
Must go to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Now, the sets that we had used for that comedy series are the same sets from our classic horror movies of the 30s and 40s. Frankenstein, Dracula, The Wolfman, The Invisible Man, filmed out here too. This little courtyard on the right in those movies, when they would have the mob of angry villagers with torches and pitchforks, they're like, let's go kill the monsters. They filmed out this part of the background.
Listen now, the monster. He's in the woods. Get out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can, lock the William indoors, and wait for me. I'm ready! Your corpses and go!
Giống mình coi mấy cảnh phim đó nè, giống chơi đúng là giống thiệt chứ. Đó kìa, đó kìa. Ta chạy á, dân ta khởi nghĩa hồi xưa. Đó, nè, nhà này nè, nhá. Đó, nhà này nè. Đó, mày thấy cái nhà xây hình luôn. Là đóng cái phim đó đó.
Now, these old horror movies have inspired a lot of famous directors that are working today, like Steven Spielberg and John Carpenter, who directed Halloween, Stephen Sommers, who directed our remake of The Mummy back in 1999. These are some famous filmmakers talking about how those old horror movies influenced their filmmaking.
When you think of Universal, we think of monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein,
The Mummy,
The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
The Invisible Man,
Phantom of the Opera. Classic films. They're just brilliantly made. That Frankenstein image, flathead, unbelievable. It's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film. I was just mesmerized by this movie. Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now, and we love them.
Now, something that's filmed in this area more recently, they've been using these sets for Good Girls with Christina Hendricks, Mae Whitman, and Retta. And there's a set over here on the left side of the tram, which is a little different than most of the other sets we've been driving by, because I've been pointing out most of the sets being as facades, just the outer shells. The house on the left is a practical set, which means it can be used for both indoor and outdoor scenes. That's not common. They normally don't build an entire house for filming. They'll usually just build like the front of the house, and then they do indoor scenes inside stages. This house was built for the talk show Home and Family, which is on the Hallmark Channel. The show is hosted by Debbie Metnopoulos and Cameron Matheson.
Hey Universal Studios fans, I'm Cameron Matheson.
And I'm Debbie Metnopoulos from the Emmy-nominated television show Home and Family.
Join us as we go behind the scenes with your favorite actors, musicians, and celebrity chefs.
Plus amazing DIYs, fun fashions, and so much more.
Make sure to watch Home and Family on Hallmark Channel every weekday.
A lot of times they would shoot scenes for the show out in the backyard, and they didn't care if our trams were driving by while they're filming, so we ended up in a lot of their episodes. A lot of times if we're doing a movie or a television show and they're at a movie studio in the series or in the movie, they'll get our trams driving by in some scenes. There was an episode of Will and Grace that had filmed here on the lot inside one of our sound stages, and in the episode, Megan Mullally's character Grace took the Universal Studio tour, and they shot some of the scenes on the tram in the New York sets that we're driving through. This is just a quick scene before we head inside of the stage.
Anastasia Beaver House. Just an ordinary tourist from the Midwest.
Who are you too?
What part? Mission. Soda, Wisconsin. Home of the fighting Caucasians.
Now, so far, all of the sets that we've been driving by have been our outdoor sets. Now we're going to take you inside one of our sound stages. There's no need to put on your 3D glasses. There's nothing inside the stage that's in 3D. It's just a set that's dressed up to look like a subway station. And we're going to be stopping inside the stage for a moment, but even when we come to a complete stop, please remember to remain seated on the train.
Cũng không thể thiếu những cảnh đó trong phim Cháy nổ động đất thiên tai, thì đây là những cảnh mà chuẩn bị sắp tới là sẽ động đất, rồi điện đồ này nọ, rồi cháy, rồi nổ, hỏa hoạn.
That was an earthquake.
Nó là một cái cảnh động đất á.
That train should be slowing down. That's gonna crash. Let's get out of here. The water main just broke.
Well, heck, Poseidon's gotta be alright.
Right before the earthquake started, I had just mentioned that was used in an episode of Bones. Guess what happened in the episode? There was an earthquake, so they put stunt performers inside the attraction, and here's how they used it on the show. I just yelled at him.
Đó. Quay cái nãy đó, tao đang chạy đó, quay phim đó. Có xe cu hỏa tới, người rồi đó. Thấy không đó, chỗ nãy đó. Đó, đi ra luôn á.
There's a billboard on the left.
Đây là những
Amity
cái
Island
nhà
welcome
cái làng
you.
trong những phim đồng
But
quê
the
ha.
Amity Police Department needed us to
Tiếp
close the
theo
beach
là
for a
cái
little bit.
cảnh mà
We had some shark attacks.
phim mà có
We
con cá mập,
caught a shark.
nó làm cá mập giả ha, cá mập giả cắn bạn thịt người.
Even though we caught the shark, they still don't want us to reopen the beach because there's another shark out there. And we didn't catch that one. It's much bigger. It's coming this way. Mister, this beach is still closed. There's another shark. Can you make it to the boat? Mister, are you all right? The shark ate him. Yay! This is a really old dock that we're on right now, so please remain seated as we make our way across. We'll just stop behind the barrels filled with gasoline. Now wait, the shark's in the water. I don't see it. I see it. My seat has a window. We got attacked by Jaws, but that's not the mechanical shark that Steven Spielberg used for the film. Our shark works better than his.
Yeah.
When they're making the movie, they built 3 mechanical sharks. None of them worked very well. All of them kept breaking.
That's a much more shark. The shark is much better. It didn't really work.
Nó làm chứ á.
Wherever you were, you could hear the radios. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. They just
Cái mập đó, phim cái mập đó. Phim á. Người đó, phim đó đó.
a while like
We had used the sets across the water on the left for the TV show Murder, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury. That was the town of Cabot Cove, Maine on the show. It filmed here for 12 years. So for 12 years, Jessica Fletcher would roam the world, solving crimes, writing mystery novels until Agent Brown's or someone else says that
Tiếp
it's
tục
safe.
với là nó sẽ tái diễn cái cảnh trong phim xã hội bắn đạn đánh nhau ha. Nó cho mình coi luôn, nó coi cái kiểu là ảnh ảo á.
I'm going to be back in a little while. I'm required to get off the tram to join them.
Everybody out! This is the FBI!
Wait,
Music off!
why are you breaking up the party? We just got here. Everybody's leaving? Wait a minute, what are we doing?
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And what
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move. Neil, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
I don't want to be part of this band anymore. Oh, God.
Slightly.
First of all, I don't work for you. Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
Coi thấy người thiệt mà mẹ.
We don't work for nobody.
Được mà.
I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
I guarantee my safety. I'm the one holding the gun. Never mind, a whole lot bigger than yours.
Escort this now.
Thấy bình thường.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
Ugly suit on, man. Cheap. Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
I like being part of the
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone?
I'll call you back. I'm just under
Mở màn để con mở là coi nè.
Call you back.
Nó đóng.
It was on vibrate.
Nó đóng mà.
Sure, traced us. Cops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Try to move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. The Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Okay, we're gonna go catch up with them. Now is a good time to put on the 3D glasses. Get ready. I guess Owen Shaw is getting pretty close to finding us. I hope he doesn't spot us while we're hiding in the garage.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
Nhưng mà khi nó xịt lưỡi như này thì mình vẫn cảm nhận được cái hơi nóng thực sự của nó.
Okay, guys, it's showtime.
Khi xe nó chạy nhanh qua giống như cái luồng gió mình feel thì cũng như thật vậy đó, mình giống như mình là một nhân vật ở trong phim đó, nó là mình bất ngờ, nó là mình sợ, nó là giống như thật vậy đó.
Under construction!
Yeah. Cảm ơn các bạn coi hết video của Quyên. Các bạn nhớ nhấn nút subscribe, like, comment ở dưới để ủng hộ Quyên làm tiếp video tiếp theo nhé. Thank you, bye bye.